I'm starting to think my childhood was a little off because I learned that first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby in a baby carriage, but now we got babies carrying babies. Seeing more miscarriages than carriages, little boys stuck in the bodies of grown men who'd rather have baby mamas than wives, defining love by the number of times they can get in between thighs. I see men shooting semen into unprotected wombs, trying to see how many women will separate their legs into sections so they can see how deep they can dive into their sea. But when it's time for a C section, we see them swimming in opposite directions. It doesn't make sense. We think we can speak it, a love language. We think words of affirmation are enough to get us by, so instead of actually being loved, we settle for a 3-syllable phrase, I love you. As servants, we're called to service. We like to receive gifts, but we don't like to share the ones from the Spirit, so we're caught up thinking presence takes the place of His presence. And when we spend too much quality time with lust, it always ends up in physical touch. The Spirit and the flesh do not speak the same lingo. The only translation for the language of love is found in His word, but we want a more immediate response. So we spend all our time studying the ingredients of love, adding our own mixtures of expired emotions, smooth sayings and sweet nothings, spoiled milk and rotten eggs, but that's what happens when we don't trade yolks with God. Wondering how to make love, yet we always end up mixing it with our own selfish desires. We imitate a fake love. We think this is, but it ain't love. We cannot replicate love, so do we hate love? But still, we try. And we fail every single time. So until we realize the lie that love is not found in between sheets, we will continue to lie down with almost maybes who temporarily fit the job description for a spouse, trying to play house because we're bored, so we settle for a quick fix like drug addicts, addicted to the kicks because the drugs added. We're crackheads. We crack heads, breaking into each other's minds with perverted thoughts of what we think love should be, so we shoot doses of emotions like heroin into our veins every time we use the name of love in vain. We use His name in vain when we say it but don't mean it. We think we're sane but we really don't know what we're saying. It's insane to repeat the same action and expect different results. So we're trapped in cycles of Ferris wheel feelings, trusting guts instead of trusting God. What we think are butterflies in our stomachs are really just cocoons of confusion, eager to break free before spring, so we're spreading premature wings, pollinating out of season. No wonder we're advised not to awaken love before it's time. We've been singing Song of Solomon out of pitch. Lovebirds chasing tail feathers, caged behind their own misconceptions of affection that change like the weather. Conception happens without protection. When lust penetrates the fertility of your spirit, you will always give birth to sin rather than fruits of the Spirit. So how do we correct this false doctrine? How do we medicate love sickness when the remedy is the cure, the cause, and the creator? Well, let's start with 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not buried in pride. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. God is patient. God is kind. He does not envy. He does not boast. He is not buried in pride. He does not dishonor others. He is not self-seeking. He is not easily angered. He keeps no record of wrongs. God does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. He always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. God, love. Synonyms without sin. Get into Him and you're in love. You don't have to fall to sin to be in love. Love does not need to be redefined. In fact, it needs to be defined as Christ who paid the cost on the cross. He was fined so that we could find true love in the Father. Let's not distort the meaning with feelings. We cannot make love. We cannot formulate words passionate enough to even closely resemble Jesus. The Maker is love, and in His image He made us. So if we add that up, then that makes us love. Amen.